Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to our first full week of October and to a forecast that's going to feel just like October in the best sense of the word and description. We're talking about beautiful weather as we look ahead. High pressure is going to rule the roost, and there's no complaints. And this is coming on the heels of what was almost a scorcher yesterday. I mean, temperatures over the course of your weekend and into your Sunday up into the mid 80s, upper for some folks. And we did not see, except for some showers, any severe weather associated with a pretty significant cold front that is going to be responsible partly for giving us a big weather change up. We'll talk about your forecast that lies ahead, but I could sum it up as saying very short and sweet and very much like October as far as temperatures are concerned. On tonight's program, we'll be covering a lot of events over the course of the weekend, and that does include human remains that were discovered since I saw you last. We'll take you to the scene. I'll show you as best I can what authorities were doing with the help of rescue and fire personnel, what they discovered, and the investigation that's ongoing. We'll also talk about indictments released last week by Montgomery County Grand Jury, a chase that turned fatal over the weekend, a domestic abuse warrant that resulted in a fatal collision as a man was trying to flee police, and welfare fraud. Okay, it's not a new thing. I think that's very safe to say. And that certainly goes to say for our part of the world. That's just a fact. However, numbers that have been released today per a Senate investigation on the heels of a 60 Minutes report last night into an Eastern Kentucky attorney are nothing short of breathtaking. We'll talk about that in more detail. Before we get to all that, just a couple of reports from around our state and region. And the first comes with what can be considered some encouraging news. I believe to at least some degree the percentage of Kentucky teenagers using prescription drugs for purposes not intended per their label has dropped dramatically. We're told over the past 4 years, according to a new survey, the 2012 Kentucky Incentives for Prevention School Survey found that the use of prescription drugs without a doctor-specific direction to do so has gone down steadily among our 6th, 8th, 10th, and 12th graders since 2004, the most significant declines seen by this study and others like it since 2008, when the Commonwealth intensified its efforts to combat prescription drug abuse. Now, according to the survey, 9% of 12th graders, our seniors, reported using prescription drugs without a doctor telling them to do so in 2012. That's down from a little over 15% in 2008. For our sophomores, 10th graders, the percentage was 7.6 in 12 versus 14%, a little more than 14% in 2008. And our off-label use among younger students, it's gone down as well. Among 8th graders, usage dropped to 2.9% in 2012 from 6.5% in 2008. And fewer than 1% of 6th graders reported using medications without a doctor's prescription or direction in 2012. That number stood at about 2% 4 years before. Now, additionally, the report also found that nearly every other area surveyed, including alcohol, tobacco, OxyContin, cocaine, and other hard drug usage, has declined between 2008 and 2012. Marijuana use, however, by contrast, remained pretty much the same, may have gone up by just a few tenths, if that, of a percent among our teenagers during the same time period. Well, hunters out there can now pursue nuisances should they so desire. You can go after coyotes at night with new regulations allowing hunters to use a shotgun to take coyotes at night. This is year-round. Lights or night vision equipment can still only be used from February the 1st through the end of May. Stephen Delby with the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources says, quote, "This new opportunity offers landowners another tool to assist in the removal of coyotes associated with livestock depredation." While Kentucky's General Assembly enacted a law allowing night hunting of coyotes earlier this year, lawmakers left it to the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife Department to create specific regulations for the seasons. The Kentucky Fish and Wildlife Commission approved the new regulations this spring. The proposed regulations recently won all the necessary approvals from legislative committees to open a season. A shotgun loaded with shells of up to a T size is the only legal firearm for night coyote hunting. Hunters will not be able to use slugs. Decoys, electronic calling devices will be allowed. And if you're on someone else's property, private property, you have to have permission to be there, of course. The night light season will correspond with the time of the year when deer shed their antlers, and that should lessen the motivation they hope for poaching of deer. Late winter is also when vegetation is at its lowest level. Food is more scarce, and that's when coyotes are actively breeding, making them easier to call in and set up. Lights cannot be connected or cast from a vehicle, obviously. Any color of light can be used, in case you're wondering. Daytime hunting for coyotes is open year-round. Hunters may use shotguns, centerfire rifles, bows, crossbows, air guns with a minimum size of a .22 caliber and rimfire rifles during daylight hours. There is no limit on the number of coyotes hunters can take, day or night. A high-speed pursuit left one dead in Lawrence County. Started in Johnson County, I believe, after a report to police of a erratic driver traveling or driving in a dangerous fashion. Turns out that driver was in a vehicle that was reported stolen, and he was wanted on a warrant for domestic abuse. And as a result of his fleeing, and police says the Kentucky State Police, he lost control of that vehicle and collided head-on with a motorcycle, the operator of which died a short time later. Ultimately, that warrant for domestic abuse resulted in a fatal crash in Lawrence County Friday night after 6:30. State police reportedly received a call about a reckless driver on US 23 in Lawrence County who was said to be driving a reported stolen vehicle. When authorities caught up with the driver, he tried to elude them, fleeing at an excessive amount of speed along Kentucky Route 644 to a point that he lost control of his vehicle, and he did so when he struck a motorcycle head-on, traveling in the opposite direction. KSP say that this is the operator of the motorcycle. He's been identified as 40-year-old Johnny Maynard. He suffered life-threatening injuries on scene of the horrific crash. He did survive to be taken to the Three Rivers Medical Center, but was pronounced dead there just a short time later. Maynard was from Lawrence County. The driver of the car, though, identified as 34-year-old Joshua Fitzpatrick of Paintsville. He's still lodged in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center, and authorities thus far have charged him with operating a motor vehicle under the influence, fleeing and evading police, as well as murder. He's scheduled to be in court later this week. Remains discovered in Magoffin County over the course of Friday and the weekend, and a family awaiting word as to confirmation of whether or not it's their lost loved one. Welfare fraud in eastern Kentucky runs a little more rampant than what you may think, and indictments released by Magoffin County Grand Jury. All coming up after these words. The lights are on, the doors are open, and the shelves are being stocked every day at the brand spanking new Ritt's Boot Barn in Sagersville on Route 114. Already in. Designs by Wrangler, Carhartt, Ariat, and more, and they've got more coming in off the truck by all those famous brands each and every day at Ritt's Boot Barn.
Fall is here, and it's time to rake in the savings at Home Furniture. Come in now for the largest sale ever on select bedroom suites. Prices have been drastically reduced, up to 40% off. All in-stock recliners are buy one, get one half off. Purchase a big screen TV, get a soundbar free. Seasons may change, but we'll always have financing available for everyone, guaranteed. Come in today while supplies last and take advantage of these huge savings at Home Furniture, Highlands Plaza, Prestonsburg.
At the end of every race, Mark Martin hangs up his driving gloves. He hangs up his fire suit. And he hangs up his helmet. Which is why he picks up his phone and opens the ER Extra app. The app shows ER Extra wait times, locations, and more. It's the one safeguard Mark Martin is never without. ER Extra at Paul B. Hall Regional Medical Center. Extra fast, extra easy, extra great.
Stop by to see how, with a guaranteed trade-in, you can drive off in this gorgeous 2011 Hyundai Sonata for $17,950 or $299 a month, or how to drive off with a little soul for $12,950 or $235 a month, or how to drive off with a lot of style in this Dodge Ram Daytona at $15,950, all at Premier Motors in Paintsville.
Hi, I'm Don McFarland. I am an attorney in Sayersville, Kentucky, and I'm here to serve you and meet your legal needs. If you have been injured on the job, if you are interested in receiving your disability or your SSI benefits, if someone's negligence has caused you trouble, basically, if you have been in a car wreck and you've suffered pain, then pick up the phone and call Donald Wayne, 349-9000.
170s, 500, 570, 800, 900s, 2 seats, 4 seats, Razors, Rangers, and XPs in the hottest colors with the coolest accessories with the best financing available and rebates up to $1,000 at Conley's, Kawasaki, and Polaris of Paintsville.
Sagersville Nursing and Rehabilitation Center is proud to announce the newest members of our family, Administrator Lane Jones and our full-time chaplain Mark Campbell and volunteer Richard Green, new faces with the same sincere desire as these, to assist you and your family with short-term rehabilitation solutions or long-term nursing care needs, close to home and those that you love. Sagersville Nursing and Rehabilitation.
Last Thursday, the City of McGoffin County Grand Jury released a total of 4 indictments relating to charges of manufacturing meth, cultivation of marijuana, assault, and others. One indictment for 31-year-old Michael L. Oney of Great Creek Road in Sagersville on a charge of manufacturing methamphetamine in the first offense. The indictment reads that on around the 18th day of October of last year, he committed the offense of manufacturing methamphetamine. The jail website at the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center shows that he's been incarcerated since the 19th, which will be a day after he was said to have been guilty of the crime, or accused of the crime at least, of last year. This indictment just being returned by the McGoffin County Grand Jury for charges related to those incidents. The grand jury has also charged that 39-year-old Robert L. Blanton of Sagersville is accused of cultivation of marijuana for events going back to August the 27th of this year, when he was said to have committed the offense after planting and cultivating and or harvesting more than 5 plants or more of marijuana with the intent to sell. The grand jury also charges Vanessa Reisner, 25, of Sagersville, with charges of assault in the first, wanton endangerment in the first, unlawful imprisonment in the first degree, and knowingly abusing or neglecting another individual. I don't have any more details this hour except for the indictment that reads that these all pertain to events that happened sometime or on the day of the 5th day of June of 2013 this year, when she committed these offenses, causing either physical injury to another person by means of a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument, as well as the charges of wanton endangerment, unlawful imprisonment, and willful or knowing abuse and or neglect. 41-year-old Stephen J. King of West Liberty is charged by the grand jury of assault in the first degree, criminal mischief in the first degree, and wanton endangerment in the first degree, 2 counts. As for the first 3, assault, criminal mischief, and 1 count of wanton endangerment, they are related to domestic violence against another individual, a female, also intentionally or defacing property owned by that same individual, causing a loss of $1,000 or more, and wanton endangerment also for the same individual. A second charge of wanton endangerment pertains to another female who was present on around the 30th day of May of this year when he committed these alleged offenses. On Thursday's program last week, I brought you some information that we were asked to relay on behalf of the family of Freddie Brown, and just a reminder about the reward that was being offered and details about his disappearance. The McGoffin County man had not been seen since February the 27th, and after a great deal of searching on behalf of friends, family, and authorities, there were literally no leads. While at this time, police cannot confirm as to whether or not human remains discovered in McGoffin County Friday and Saturday may or may not be that of Freddie Brown, it's pretty well safe to say that that is the assumption of many. As for the missing persons case concerning Freddie Brown, he was last seen on February the 27th. He went missing wearing jeans, work boots, a green hooded sweatshirt, and a jacket. He had in his possession his keys, wallet, it was believed, as he had left friends in the area of the left-hand fork of Johnson Fork. Since then, friends and family have been searching vigorously for him. Organized searches have also been held, but to no avail. Also, family organizing after donations and contributions and their own doing a $5,000 reward for any information leading to the whereabouts of their lost son, brother, dad, and friend. As for that missing persons case, it is still open, pending autopsy results, which may give the family some element of closure. Some ginseng hunters were reportedly in the area of the left-hand fork of Johnson, technically the left hand of the left-hand fork of Johnson, and a couple of miles off the beaten path, if you will, when they encountered a human skull lying in what you could technically call a pathway that was very grown over, to say the least. And they notified authorities. The rescue squad and other personnel started to cordon off the area on Friday evening. Darkness fell, and then another search was organized for early Saturday morning with cadaver dogs and things of the other animals and investigators of that nature, and a more thorough search was done of the area where more human remains were indeed discovered. They were collected and sent to the state medical examiner's office for an autopsy. Other evidence was also collected at the scene. State police at this hour are not releasing any official statements, saying that autopsy results are pending and further tests to confirm as to whether or not they may be the remains of Freddie Brown. The McGoffin County Coroner Mark Jenkins was also on scene, part of the investigation and part of the collection of those remains. While there are a great deal of individuals who may be assuming, and may be correct in doing so, that these are the remains of Freddie Brown, that will only be determined by the state medical examiner's office. Those test results are pending. We hope to have information and some word from this being closure, hopefully, for the family as soon as they're revealed. As for whether or not Brown was a victim of foul play, that too still under investigation. That too also pending autopsy results, which are still being conducted at our state medical examiner's office. Detective Jason Dials with the Kentucky State Police is the lead investigator into the case of Freddie Brown, and he's also handling the case of the human remains discovered over the course of the weekend. Now, he worked at both cases over the course of the entire weekend and was off today as a result, but he is set to be back on duty tomorrow. I spoke with him on numerous occasions during the search over the course of Saturday, and we received a message from him earlier today that he will be available for comment tomorrow. We hope to be able to get with him then and find out the latest details on the case of Freddie Brown, this now death investigation, and to whether or not they can draw any conclusions between the two. I'll be right back after the community calendar, local obituaries, and more with the rest of our headlines. With the following announcements brought to you by your local McGoffin Farm Bureau agent, Doug Green, at 349-2416. First up, a birthday. Happy birthday, Nana Rita, with a whole lot of love. Happy birthday to Nana Rita from Peyton, Mason, Cadence family, and friends. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Rita. Calendar announcements include the following. As soon as I get there. Hang on. It's Monday. I'm allowed a little bit of leeway on Monday, right? So the Site-Based Decision-Making Council for the Sagersville Grade School has a regular session meeting set for tomorrow. This meeting at 4 p.m. You are now invited and informed. South McGoffin Elementary is having a special called site-based meeting. Now, this is going to be Wednesday at 4. Everyone is now invited and informed. And attention to all of our veterans, from Jeremy Holbrook with our local Chapter 15 of the DAV. If you're interested in participating in this year's Veterans Day celebration, this specifically going out to all of our Vietnam veterans, they would really like to hear from you. So any of our Vietnam vets who would like to participate at the McGoffin County High School ceremony this year on Veterans Day, please contact Mr. Holbrook or Mr. Henry Joseph. The numbers are on the bottom of your screen, 367-3734, or Henry's number is 349-5235. They would like to hear from you by the 1st of November. All Vietnam veterans will be presented with a certificate on the day of the celebration, and they would really like to have you be a part of this ceremony. I'll be running these numbers for the next few days. A reminder, the Sagersville Masonic Lodge's Haunted Trail is as spooky as ever, and they say might be the last haunted trail you ever attend. Every Friday and Saturday of October and October the 31st, the first group leaves at dark on those nights. It's $7 per person, and it's a scare you have to see to believe. Harvest Fest is at the Lakefront Church of God on the old Middle Fork Elementary School grounds on October the 12th. That's this Saturday. They've got a working horse-drawn mill, working sawmill, a Dutch oven, cooking up some wonderful foods, food, games, inflatables, and auction starting at 2, a gospel sing, and more. A benefit still being organized for Jimmy Porter. If you would like to help support them with their auction and other events and items, please call Brittany Holbrook and Jeremy Holbrook. The numbers are on your screen as well. And call us anytime you've got a calendar announcement. They're free. We like birthdays and anniversaries too. Put them on and let everyone know what you've got planned or who you want to send out some special wishes to. Here at tonight's funeral services. A service provided by our friends at the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Services were held on yesterday over the course of the weekend for 77-year-old John D. Jackson, known as Jack, of Sagersville,
who passed away on October the 3rd. He was married to Agnes Cole Jackson, who survives. Besides his wife, he's survived by sons Wade and Daniel Jackson, and daughter Linda K. Wireman. And Nelson Arnott Wages, 48, of Howard Branch Road, passed away on yesterday's date, the son of Aline Arnott Wages and the late Langley Wages. Besides his mom, he's survived by his wife, Monica Gullett Wages, daughter Tanika Bailey, and sons Justin, Caleb, and Alex, and Leighton Hensley. Sisters Pam Wages and Tammy Puckett as well. Visitation is this evening. It continues all day tomorrow and until services, which start Wednesday of this week at 1, all of which will be coming from the Sagersville Funeral Home Chapel.
Let's just be honest about it. Welfare fraud is nothing new in our part of the world or others, but it may not have been believed to be as rampant as what a Senate investigation is portraying it as, and that comes public on the heels of a 60 Minutes segment last night into that very topic. The Senate hearing today began at 3 o'clock. It was scheduled to discuss the federal disability insurance program, which could literally become one of the very first programs to go bankrupt, so to speak, or default, and just literally run out of money. Now, back in the 1950s, it was an inception allowing people who were unable to work due to illness or injury to have a means of income and survival. Well, today it's grown to 12 million people on the program. It has grown 20% in the past 6 years alone. An annual budget of more than $135 billion. Now, that makes it more than the Department of Homeland Security, the Labor and Justice Department's budgets all combined. And it's also the subject of a lot of discussion and investigation this evening. A 60 Minutes segment last night, only a clip of which we'll show you, was a prelude of a Senate hearing earlier today to discuss what appears to be tens of millions and maybe even billions of dollars worth of fraud. And it also specifically lists one Eastern Kentucky attorney.
60 Minutes delved into an investigation headed up by Senator Tom Coburn of Oklahoma, the ranking Republican of the Senate Subcommittee for Investigations. He's a doctor, too, and he says that his investigation has uncovered, a great deal of fraud. Last year, the Social Security Administration, he says, per his report, paid $1 billion to claimants' lawyers out of the cash-strapped disability fund. One chunk, the biggest, $70 million, going to the largest disability firm in the country. But further on down that ladder, the third largest disability lawyer firm, that of Eric C. Kahn of Stanville in Floyd County. Two women began complaining to their bosses about the Social Security Administration 6 years ago after discovering that a great deal of number of claims and some questionable medical evidence were being submitted by Kahn, who runs the documented third largest disability practice in the United States. A lot of his success, according to the report last night, had to do particularly with, one judge, David Dougherty. Dougherty, who sought out Kahn's cases, literally asking to be over them. Whether or not that's legal or not, I'm not for certain. The report last night said 1,823, awarding $500 million, that's with a B, $500 million worth of lifetime benefits to Kahn's clients. And in case you missed it last evening, Kahn chose not to speak to 60 Minutes, saying that he would rather speak in a legal setting, if you will. Well, he got that chance earlier today. Now, going back to the report last night, it was in reference to an official report being released today. Now, the show last night said that it was going to reveal today that Kahn collected more than $13 million in legal fees from the federal government over the past 6 years, in turn paying 5 doctors about $2 million to sign off on what was just fake or bogus medical claims that they had made up and even often were filled out ahead of time by Kahn's staff. Sometimes these doctors seeing, if you will, 13 to 20 individuals in a medical exam room set up in Kahn's office on a daily basis. And while those numbers were outlined in last night's 60-minute report, the numbers today revealed in the Senate investigation were even much more stark. Not only did Mr. Social Security, as he has self-proclaimed himself, earn millions of dollars, as said the 60 Minutes coverage last night. The report today actually had a number of $22.7 million in attorney's fees from the Social Security Administration that he had made since 2001 through what it calls a scheme to defraud the agency. Now, the report went on further to say that, like an assembly line, basically, based on manufactured evidence and medical ailments, if you will, that Judge Dougherty and Kahn's law office would talk in advance, or at least their representatives, about the cases that were coming up, and then when Kahn's future clients, well, his current clients and future benefit recipients, if you will, had a case coming up that was automatically shifted over to another judge, well, Judge Dougherty would use his computer to reassign those cases to himself. How many, you ask? Well, thousands. Kahn's favorite doctor of 5 or 6, well, one Frederick Huffnagel of Bowling Green, collected $1 million almost from Kahn from 2006 to he died in 2010. He would meet claimants for 10 to 20 minutes at a time in the medical suite at Kahn's law office before signing off the necessary documents to support Kahn's cases. And the report outlined that from 2005 to 2011, Judge Dougherty approved disability claims as requested by Kahn for 3,143 of his clients. Now, that's 100% of his clients. The judge never refused or returned or denied a single one of his requests. 100%, more than 3,000 of his clients. A national average, a high number, would be about 60%. As for that very, very friendly judge, as he's been referred to, he did retire in 2011. Now, that was just after the Wall Street Journal was the first to reveal his relationship, so to speak, between Kahn and the judge, and how their working together seemed to be very fruitful for everyone involved. As for now, the hearing began at 3. The report was released just prior to that, and we suspect we'll know more soon. Kahn was to testify, as well as others, today before the Senate Hearing Committee. With that, I've got to wrap up real quickly. I believe some breaking news ongoing. I'm not quite for certain as of yet. I'm just receiving a note across my desk. We may have an update on what's transpiring at this hour tomorrow. Nevertheless, a low tonight, you're not seeing things. That's 44, very clear, cool degrees tonight. Some patchy fog developing thereafter. It's going to be chilly, and tomorrow's not going to be much warmer than today. I recorded 69 degrees. 69 exactly. Here's where I topped out today. Ditto for tomorrow, and tomorrow night's low almost exactly the same. So look for a little AM fog, and temperatures pretty much on par with exactly what we saw today, and clear skies to continue tomorrow night. We will warm up thereafter. By Wednesday, the low 70s, mid 70s. By Thursday, I have total sunshine above, clear, calm, dry air between this time and next week at this time. Gorgeous, gorgeous, very October-like conditions that I hope you'll get to enjoy. For now, we'll be back here tomorrow night for more of Your News Today. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of the show.